Hello and welcome back to the Gauntlet of Greatness. I'm Randy Buehler, joined by my normal partner in crime, Shadow Datella. How are things, Shadow?
Everything's awesome.
Everything is awesome. We have got a hell of a group queued up for this week. I think this is the group of death. You look at this group C, this is four of the best decks in the history of Standard. The Caw-Blade deck is just legendary as sort of probably the best use of Jace the Mind Sculptor when that card was legal in Standard. Affinity continues to terrorize people in Modern, has forever. Jund has been around in various incarnations forever. Bloodbraid Elf is the superstar in this deck. That card's good enough to be banned in Modern. And then Survival Recur is, in a lot of ways, the wild card. The fan vote put Survival Recurring Nightmare into this tournament, and it'll be interesting to see how it does. Letting you know how we've gotten here, we've already shown off Group A. The Necro deck and the Tinker deck have got the wins there so far. Group B, Dragonstorm upset Mythic, so Fairies and Dragonstorm will be playing for spot in the playoffs when we get back to this group. Today, we're going to play Group C, and then come back next week, by the way, because I'm really looking forward to Group D as well. Turbo Stasis. I haven't Stasis locked anybody. I may have to play that Stasis deck, Shadow, even though it's not one of the top seeds there. I may need to enjoy the Stasis lock. Haven't done that in a while. But anyway, four totally different ways to play Magic in Group D. Group C, though, for my money, the toughest group. Let's look at the first matchup. We're going to play Affinity versus Jund. And Affinity is slightly different this season from the version we played in the first season of the Gauntlet of Greatness. I'm going with a cranial plating version of the Affinity deck this time around. Season 1, we played Skull Clamp. The Affinity deck did okay. I mean, it finished third in its group, though. It did not make the playoffs. I honestly don't know which of these versions of the Affinity deck is better. I mean, the card Skull Clamp is clearly the more powerful card. It does broken things, degenerate things, fuels combo decks, and whatnot. In Affinity, it's not like it was a combo card. It was just this, awesome mid-range, card advantage, very powerful thing, but cranial plating is also a very powerful thing in this deck. When all of your cards are artifacts, you just hit them crazy fast. So we're going with cranial plating version, so this is essentially 3 months later in time. This specifically is the version that Camille Cornelissen, the Hall of Famer, used to make the top 8 of Worlds that year. So we'll see what happens. The opponent here is the Jund deck. So Jund is, it's very good if it survives long enough to start its card advantage onslaught. You can't keep up with it. You're never winning a mid-range grindy deck against Bloodbraid Elf and Bituminous Blast and Broodmade Dragon, and even just sprouting Thrynax is enough to really stop the offense on the ground. The flaw with this deck is, well, there's only the 4 Lightning Bolts at 1 mana, and there's only 6 2-mana cards. It really has to get to 3 before it can really operate. And a lot of these lands come into play tapped: Lava Claw Reaches, Raging Ravine, Savage Land. So it can come out of the gates a little bit slow, especially if it doesn't have a Lightning Bolt. But yeah, that's the matchup. 2 iconic decks playing Magic. All right, let me go to, where am I going to go? Constructed. Open play. I will head to the Getting Serious room, and I will set up a match for us to fight. I'm going to play the Affinity side of the matchup. In general, we've just been giving me the higher seeds, so you guys can kind of watch the higher seeds play, and 60 minutes on the clock. Not that we expect to need them, I just don't want to run out of time on a 25-minute clock while we're talking. So I have a matchup, Shadow. I will wish you good luck.
And to you, good sir. So where are we now? Constructed open play.
Getting serious. Yeah. Don't forget the 60-minute clock. You got to match all the settings to see the match.
Wait, WotC coverage, RAR. Oh, Randy. Okay.
Yeah, that's me. All right, I will put you on mute. We'll talk more after the game.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. We won the die roll. That's big. Yes, definitely want to play first. What does this hand do? It's kind of only okay, right? It's Worker into Atog. I guess it's a keep, right? A couple of Frogmites. They may not come down on turn 2, unfortunately, but on the play, yeah, that's a keep. Sign up for Worker. I really want an artifact land next turn. Because, I guess I can play I can play Chromatic Sphere and then pay 1 for Frogmite and pay 0 for the other Frogmite? Okay. And skip the ATOG. That's how I play this. Savage Lands. Not the fastest start. Oh, Thoughtcaster refill later. Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to get the 2 Frogmites down, so I'm gonna go Chromatic Sphere into a 1 mana Frogmite into a 0 mana Frogmite. None of the broken cards, but this clock on the play against that deck might be good enough. Okay, what? Yeah, I mean, Thoughtcast is down to 1 mana. I think I'm going to lead Thoughtcast instead of ATOG. Okay, he's got his Rampant Growth, so his mana's online. Oh, sweet. Definitely will be playing an ATOG. All right. Interesting. So I can play Disciple and Worker. Or I can play an ATOG and then play Disciple Worker next turn. That sounds better. I can get in an attack with the ATOG. Unblocked ATOG deals just a million damage on this board. I mean, he'll block it or kill it, but just having the combo with Disciple is probably good enough. All right. Now, start playing your game, Mr. Jundek. I guess the ATOG also defends against Maelstrom Pulse a little bit. I could eat the Frogmite that's getting targeted. Yeah, Bloodbraid Elf, good card. What did he hit? Oh, jeez. He hit the Maelstrom Pulse. All right. He's targeting that one, so we'll fizzle the Maelstrom Pulse and defend the other Frogmite. Less than ideal, but what are you going to do? Bloodbraid Elf's good. Okay, so I can Disciple. Yeah, I can eat a million things. And I can eat them in the middle of combat where they let me drop counters around. Yeah, I'm just going to attack. I'm pretty sure he has to chump block the ATOG. And then I'll figure out what's going on. Sure, I attack with everything, right. So if I should eat 1 thing in order to beat up the Bloodbraid Elf. I'm currently dealing 2, 3. In theory, I could deal 4, 5 damage, putting him at 9. And I do not have 9 artifacts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 artifacts, so I can't kill him. Do I eat an Arcbound Worker for a point, or do I eat a land? I don't really need all these lands. But dealing a point seems better than having 3 Arcbound Workers lying around. Yeah, I mean, the only question is which artifact I eat. Yep. I will use Disciple's ability. I will use Arcbound Worker's ability. Take 4, and should be pretty well set up for lethal next turn. Sure. It's pretty good. Sprouting Thrynax. Yeah, that's not good enough. Doesn't look good enough. Oh, that's annoying. I mean, I can eat Arcbound Worker for a point. I can eat lands for points. Maybe this is a reason I could have eaten the other worker. I don't know. I would have gotten a point through last turn that I'm not going to get through this turn. I guess there's also value in getting things up to 4/4. But anything I eat means I can't eat it next turn. So I'm only eating it for the point off the Disciple. That doesn't sound great. Yeah, I need food for the future so the ATOG can keep attacking. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can put him at 3, but that doesn't. I have to actually get through for damage. Yeah, I don't think it does me any good to eat stuff now. I don't think those points are worth taking away the food. More food. All right, Frogmite. Man, I think I just attack with everybody. I mean, I can obviously eat things. The fact that these are yeah, I'm just gonna attack with everybody. You figure out how you want to block. Yeah, sure. So I can eat the Aether Vial so that ATOG beats up on Sprouting Thrynax. Hypothetically, I could save Frogmite by eating an Arcbound Worker, but then I deal less damage, and I think I'm okay with the trade there. Not in love with all the 1/1s that are going to show up and play defense, but what are you going to do? Yeah, these decks are from old Pro Tours. So the Affinity deck that I'm playing is Camille Cornelison's deck that he top-8'd Worlds with right after Fifth Dawn came out, and Cranial Plating became the card of choice for Affinity decks. Shadow's playing a Jund deck. I think it's a Marin Liber list. Yeah. I'm a little surprised he's not pulsing the ATOG, but what are you going to do? Clearly, I want to fizzle this just like I fizzled the other one. Only one place that can go. He's down to 2 cards. Man, 2 Bloodbraid Elves have been tough to slog through. It's so hard to attack on the ground against this deck. Now there's a Putrid Leech. All right. I mean, the ATOG is still a hard thing for him to block. But this Arcbound Worker can't really get through Putrid Leech. Oh, that's good. Can almost move it. Next turn I'll be able to move it. So I attach here. He already has to block the ATOG. I want to make sure he has to block the Arcbound Worker. And if he decides to trade with Putrid Leech, that's just a thing that can happen. I think I'm depressingly okay with that trade. I don't know. There's some value in leaving this back for the future. If he's going to pay 2 life to trade Putrid Leech for Arcbound Worker, I think I'm just okay with that. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, order, don't care. Would you like to pay 2 life to make me sack an artifact? He does want to pay 2 life to make me sack an artifact. All right. It's not the worker because I want to eat the Sacrillings. Is it the Cranial Plating or is it a land? 2 land seems good enough. I think it's Seat of the Synod. Now he's down to 1 card. It's possible I should have attacked with only Atog wearing plating, but I don't know. 1 card. Have nothing. It doesn't look like nothing. It's 4 blockers. It's his last card too, but it's 4 blockers. This is 3 mana to activate, so he can sack a fetch land, and then he can activate it. Interesting. I mean, I have to just slog through that, right? I'm not getting through any other way. I mean, I could sit here and stare at him and what? Hope to draw a flyer? Hope to draw a Nexus? It's 4 blockers. And I have to sack an artifact just to have Atog survive. And wait for Disciple. I think I sit here and wait for Nexus or Disciple or something better. This version of the deck does not play Shrapnel Blast either. I mean, that's often an out. It plays Disciple as the direct damage source. Now he's down to 3. So Disciple is instantly lethal. Blinkmoth Nexus is lethal as soon as it loses Summoning Sickness. I get some turns. He can't really... I mean, maybe he can start attacking me with Lava Claw Reaches. It does hit pretty hard. And do I have to trade? How hard does that thing hit? He can give it +3. Yeah, I'm not trading. I'm going to 15. Yeah, still feel like the same logic applies. It's 2 Bloodbraid Elves. Card's good! Now what? Wow. It'd be hard to win with a Nexus now. Come on, Disciple of the Vault. Yeah. What? I can block and eat 1 artifact in order to not take 3 damage? Which is kind of relevant, right? He's got the flyers. Oh, how relevant is 3? He's going to hit me for 8 and then 16. I don't think this 3 damage matters. All right. Come on, deck. Ravager. That doesn't really help. It's a blocker. Tap my mana badly so that I can't move the cranial plating. Maybe I'm supposed to block. If he activates both his lands, I block the lands and go to 1. Yeah, I basically need to draw Disciple. He's going to give me 1 more draw phase. Gotta be here. Disciple of the Vault for the win. Oh, we got there! deserved it. No problem. Disciple of the Vault for the win. This is how Affinity worked. This is how Affinity worked. You play with all these cards, your opponent does all these super powerful things, and then you just top deck around as your Disciple. And then your opponent looks and thinks and does some math, and then frustratedly scoops up their cards. Yeah, that's about how I remember Affinity. Sound about right? Meanwhile, my sideboard doesn't have a whole lot for Jund, not gonna lie. I think having a couple of flyers is really powerful, especially if they can pick up a cranial plating. I don't think I win this game with Mirror Retriever Recursion. These do not hit players. This does. I think I am going to get in that situation where I'm trying to deal the last points fairly often. Glimmer Void makes sense given that if I brought Colored Spell then, maybe it doesn't. I already have one. He's not a deck that, I mean, it's not like any of my cards are bad against him. I mean, I guess it's really hard to get through on the ground with Atog, so I'm going to pinch out an Atog. I don't love Aether Vial against him. Like, it's not like he's countering anything. I mean, it's a little bit of speed. It can help get the Atogs down. Doesn't help with Somber Hoverguard, and it helps with the Affinity. Interesting. I don't actually think I want an extra land in this grindy matchup. And I've got the Chromatic Spheres. I've got, like, what, 9 blue? All right, let's try it like this. Oh, Pyroclasm to clean up the tokens? I don't know. I don't love Aether Vial here, but, I mean, it is a 1-mana artifact. Like, it's part of the food. All right, what does this deck do? And it gets things like Disciple and Atog down. So I go... I mean, I think it's a keep. I'm on the draw, too. I have the Chromatic Sphere for colored mana. I think that's a keeper on the draw. And I like seeing the Disciple. Yeah, I'm going to keep. I leave Worker, not Chromatic Sphere, I think. Would like a land here or next turn, obviously. Yeah, definitely leaving Worker. Need a land next turn to really turn this draw on. I mean, I can operate without a land. It's not like I had to hit a land to operate. But the hand's a lot better if I hit a land. Oh. Update scoreboard. Affinity is up 1-0. Best 2 out of 3 match. I just keep playing Workers? Or do I need to, like, cycle through Chromatic Sphere? It feels so slow to try to cycle a mana through Chromatic Sphere. Of course, Worker Maelstrom Pulse is a thing. Yeah, the one from that... I'm going to do it this way. It feels like the 1 damage from that Archon Worker is not that big a deal. This draw has officially not worked out great. Worker, you took one for the team. That's a Lightning Bolt that Disciple of the Vault is happy to see go to the graveyard. Oh, no turn 3 play. Maybe we're still okay. Come on! Man, do I cycle Chromatic Sphere? I also want an artifact in play for Affinity, right? Affinity, Affinity, Affinity. I'm going to do it this way. I don't think putting Disciple there wins me this game. Yup. Bloodbraid Elf. He brought the 3/3 dorks in. I do think this is better against me than Blightning. Pretty sure he brought that in for the Blightnings. Blightning would have randomly been good this game, but Blightning on the draw is terrible against me. Blightning on the play might be okay. Not chomping a Bloodbraid. But, like, just having a 3/3 dork is It's a real game. All right. Now, with 3 artifacts and 2 mana, so I can pay 1 for a Frogmite. Or I can play an Atog. I can pay 1 for Frogmite and then pay a Disciple? Which lets me follow up with Atog? Yeah, let's do it that way. Land is good. Still going to play the Disciple because I have no black mana. Even though it means I don't have anything to do with this land. Oh, I played a land this turn, of course. All right. Yup. I think I just gotta take it. I mean, I could chump and make this a 3/3. It doesn't really help on this board. I think I need those guys for Atog fuel and Affinity food. I have to hope he's basically out of gas. He's not out of gas. Yeah, this game's gonna be super hard from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. I can't imagine that the block with Mirror Enforcer plan is going to win me this batch. But that is the situation I've gotten into with this draw. Was I supposed to mulligan? I have a 1 mana Worker, Chromatic Sphere, Disciple. No Ravager, no Plating, which are the 2 best cards in my deck. But Disciple is on the list of best cards in my deck as well. I mean, it's a lethal attack. I have no choice but to start blocking. This match is going to this game. This game is a lost cause. He's very close to a lost cause. One, two, three, 4. So I can play the Mirror Enforcer and then do nothing else. Sure. No, I play Cranial Plating, which gives me 5 artifacts, and then I can play 2 mana Mirror Enforcer. Right. And having a mana left over would let me chump with the Worker and get onto a Nexus. I guess I'll just get onto a Mirror Enforcer. I don't know. Yep. I don't know, this whole block with Mirror Enforcer plan seems okay here. Now, obviously, I have to block both. But I can kill them both. I wind up with a 5/5 Mirror Enforcer. Yeah, I think that's how I play this. Versus 3/1/1s. And the Atog actually blocks the Saproling. If he's out of gas, we're still very in this game. Pithing Needle's pretty good. Is he going to show off the Plating or the 2 Nexuses? I would guess it's the 2 Nexuses, but Plating's pretty good too. That's his last card. So, game on. We can still win this. Okay, shuts off the Nexuses. Nexi? I wish I had blue mana. If I had blue mana for this Hover Guard, life would be great. I think I have to start attacking. Yeah, he can't trade even though I'm at 4. I mean, if he takes this and then top decks a removal spell for the ATOG, then we lose. But he's got like 1 turn to do that. And he can't risk that. Yeah, he has to chump block, which is just as good as leaving it on defense. So. Awesome. Wow, how big is the ATOG? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it's not friends with the plating. So I'm just trying to figure out whether I attack with ATOG or not. I mean, I think I do. What do I lose to? I lose to like Bloodbraid Elf. Is having ATOG on defense help in that scenario? It kind of does. So this plating is what, +7? So I can hit him for 10 in the air next turn? I'm just going to leave ATOG on defense for a turn. Sure. One draw phase. He needed to fade 1 draw phase last game, and we top decked for the win. Is he going to return the favor? Top deck for the win? Lightning Bolt doesn't do it because I can block both the Saprolings. He basically needs a Bloodbraid Elf. Maelstrom Pulse for the Hover Guard. All right. And that buys him a turn. But both my creatures are lethal. Hits keep coming. That doesn't actually do anything. Yeah, he has to chump. And now I don't know what he draws. We might actually win this game. Hold! Forest isn't going to do it. Pithing Needle's not going to do it. Wow. Affinity wins a couple of crazy ones. Good game, Shadow.
Good games.
Yeah,
I was hoping that I could just turn cards sideways there, but I ran out of gas.
No, I thought I was dead. I totally thought I was losing that game. I thought you played it fine, and I mean, I thought the great Sable Stag sideboard strategy looked decent. Blocking with Mirror Enforcer, it never occurred to me that just like blocking with Mirror Enforcer was actually going to allow me to come back in that game. Felt like I was way too far behind for that.
My next 5 cards were lands.
Yeah, and that can happen with that deck. You had no Bloodbraid Elves that game, and you kind of flooded a little bit, and you just needed any one sort of business spell to push you over the top.
And I had Master of the Wild Hunt. That was then next. But yeah, too little, too late. Good games.
Good games. All right. Affinity puts up the early win here in Group C.